Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 356 of the Massenomics podcast. Of course, we're the lifting podcast about nothing, and recording this live from western northeast South Dakota and eastern southeast South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
All right, I had to have you give me the green light.
Yeah,
on that one,
did you
Tommy.
like?
Yeah.
Was it a good, strong hand signal? There was no debate
felt
about
like
what.
It felt like we're really making a movie over here or something now.
Action.
Oh, we got a banger this week. We got a special guest coming up, Big Josh Bryant, and all kinds of things to get to. Tommy made his first trip back to western northeast South Dakota here recently. That's probably the biggest news, right?
It is. There is a lot to cover. I think maybe we should hop into ads before we get carried away, though.
Yeah, we can't dive into all of that just yet, right? So first things first, I'm going to hit you with a little ad right here. Let's check it out.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
All right. I want to go lift.
That's a
Just got
banger.
done lifting. I want to go back to the gym and pretend I'm holding strength co-plates.
At least pretend they're strength co-plates.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Most shoes harm your mobility by over-restricting your foot's natural movement. Barefoot shoes are designed with minimal restrictions so your feet can move the way they're supposed to. Move with more strength and confidence in every step. Barefoot Shoes was founded by Chris Duffin, who knows a thing or two about lifting a thing or two. He attributes proper foot biomechanics as foundational to his success in squatting and deadlifting over 1,000 pounds for reps. He helped create the company to provide a minimalist shoe that can be worn for anything from deadlifts to walking your dog. Go to www.barefoot.shoes to check out the best minimalist shoes available, and while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. Tommy, so you did make the trip back, didn't you?
I did, and I got to ask right away, Tanner. We'll get into the details of that, but the world's been dying to know. You finally got to try double dip wings. Do they hold up to the hype at all?
Double dip wings. So let me lay out the set the scene for you.
Yes.
We were at the circus, of course.
And when we say the circus, we're talking about the bar named the Circus. We weren't actually at a circus.
No, the Circus Sports Bar and Grill, the place that made double dip wings famous. Them along with you, Tommy, made double dip wings famous. And I can't remember if you suggested it or if I had already.
Well, you'd made it was getting late, and you'd made a comment about possibly getting food somewhere, and I said, "You're at the circus, Tanner.
Yeah.
Get double dip wings." And it was like 11 o'clock at night. It was getting late, so I made the suggestion, and I didn't know if you were going to do it, but then you put the order in.
We got it. We had to get, and then we were going to eat there, but we had to get because my wife also ordered the double dipped wings. But we ended up having to take them to go, last minute audible, and get them to go, and we went home and ate them. And I have to caveat with it, given the situation. You know, when you've been out drinking or whatever, and you're really hungry at the end of the night.
It's hard to beat any food at that point. Like every food just gets like if any food's a 5, it's almost always a 9 at least at that point then, because it's there's that magic.
So because I don't know if that's a factor or not, but they tasted delicious. I thought they were awesome, but I don't know. It was kind of like little bit of a tainted first run, but I thought they were great. I would have given them a 10 out of 10.
Yep. Yep.
But see,
I don't think your judgment's too clouded there. That's how I felt too. I believe I've been on record saying they are my favorite wings. And
they were really good, and I could take, so I don't know which order they did it or how it works, but it felt like the outside was very barbecue, but yet then I was getting
that vinegar
heat,
buffalo at the end.
I was getting that. And my wife made the comment like, "Oh, I can't really tell that." Like, it just seemed like barbecue wings to her.
Yes,
but I could definitely tell. But she also got boneless, so that's a whole different thing too.
Yeah, I feel like that changes a little bit. The other thing to keep in mind is I will still say that anytime you take food home from a restaurant, it's never as good as just sitting there and eating
That's
it.
true,
Because
too.
at bare minimum, it's 5 minutes older. Probably more than likely by the time you get home, get everything out, it's 10 minutes older. And if someone sat food in front of you and said, wait 10 minutes before you can eat it, say, no, it's not going to be as good. So they might be even better still the second time around.
They may have, at the time, they seemed like the best wings I'd ever eaten. Like, I would even put it in that category. I'm excited to get them again now to see what I think the next time. But I thought they were worth the hype.
All right. So,
like, maybe even underrated still from what we talked about.
And I always get surprised because I assumed everyone knew this existed, and even your wife, who is a local, goes, "What are you guys talking about?" She had no idea. So apparently this is part of the hidden menu that only certain people know.
Oh, they were good.
Okay, well that makes me feel good. I had been hyping them up for a while. I was afraid you're going to say, they were good, but for how much you talked about them, they actually were not that good. But
no, that's not my takeaway at all. I thought they were awesome.
All right. That makes me happy to hear. So that's good. We also, I did make my return back to the motherland this past weekend. I didn't go to the gym or anything. It was kind of a quick trip, but we got to go back. Yeah, and like we were saying, we got to go out a little bit. I think I didn't get home till after midnight, which for me these days is getting to be pretty late, but I did have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't really remember exactly what time we left, but I suppose it was before midnight or whatever. But I remember thinking it was pretty late for me.
It was getting.
Let's just say we got toe up from the flow up.
I don't know if I'd quite say that.
Yeah, that might be a bit of an exaggeration.
Maybe it was more of a state of mind though. So
there's a lot of hashtag meat prep talk, and
there was
number of days out. We're under 108. Speaking of this, just in meat prep update, we are under 180 days out now from the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic.
That's very exciting. Oh, and we also do have, before that, the Arnold coming up. We have news about maybe there'd be some native Western Northeast South Dakotans making the trip out to the Arnold this year.
Oh, that is exciting news. We a number of supporting members here that Jim and supporting members together that would be making the trip. And of course, of particular note, Larry Legend, of course,
yes.
Right? That's the one that everyone wants to know about usually.
Yes, I think that is probably the most noteworthy, is that allegedly Larry Legend, along with a few other guys from the gym, will be making the trip. Yes, allegedly will be making the trip out east. And
Big Caden, Big Mason, Big Justin, and of course Larry Legend.
I expect there will be a few Larry Legend call-outs at the booth, so I'm excited for that.
So get your Larry Legend signs ready.
Yeah, your Larry Legend calendar and photos so you can sign them when you see him in person.
Yeah.
Do we need to promote that, like a Larry Legend meeting, like Saturday from 1 to 2?
Meet and greet.
Meet Larry Legend at the booth.
Yeah, like where he'll sign autographs.
Yeah, I like that. I think we need to do that.
Like, bring all of your 30-year-old Inzer really small singlets, and he'll sign them for you. Bring all your 25-year-old blue Inzer singlets with a 1.5-inch inseam, and he'll sign them for you.
And wear your work boots too.
Work boots, good call. Wear your work boots and jeans, and literally have just come from work. Like, even though the Arnold's probably like it's like a 20-hour drive, he's still not going to go. Like, he'll have to do it where he just gets off work and then
Damn,
goes.
Was he doing construction before he got here?
It's like, what? Like that? Like, it's a day and a half drive. Like, he couldn't have just got to the Arnold for doing
was
construction.
He helping?
I'm like, out front they had a water leak in the main brake, and they knew I was here, so I hopped in the backhoe. And
I either expect that or being like, I'm gone, but I had to do some remote work. Well, what does that mean? Is he on the computer? Was he actually working somewhere?
They're having me drive the excavator from here.
It's good stuff.
That is exciting news. It looks like you, if I'm seeing right behind you, it looks like you brought something back from Western Northeast South Dakota.
I did. God, it's so confusing for me because I have 2 monitors for my recording camera, and one of them mirrors me, and one of them does not mirror me. So depending on what screen I look up, on one hand my right arm's up, and on the other one my left hand's up.
Right.
And I actually have my webcam mirroring me too, so I have 3 cameras and 2 different angles going on. But
why does one of them not? What do you mean by not mirror? Like,
I don't know. One of them, when I put my right hand up, it's on the right hand side of the screen, and on the other one, it's on the left hand side of the screen. It's because the one knows when it's turned around. The other one is meant to be the other screen is meant to be viewed from behind the camera, but I have it turned around so I can see me. So I'm getting mixed signals on what's going on here. But yeah, it's I got the drink spotter over here, but still didn't have enough time. You know, we're recording on a weird time right now, so I haven't. Yeah. My whole lighting setup changes during the day. It's so bright in this room that the ambiance is kind of tore up.
It's
you know?
off.
Yeah. So we'll get this all dialed in still, but and like I said, we've been dialing it for weeks now.
That
just keeps dialing.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. Is that made in America from stainless steel?
Your eyes are not fooling you. That is
it of an 11 gauge thickness? Wow. Laser cut. It looks like. Wow.
Laser cut. Yep. Don't forget that part.
That looks safe. Yeah. So someone asked about the fulfillment center. No windows down in the fulfillment center. So day or night is not relevant in the old Massenomics FC.
Yeah, one of the beautiful parts of being in a basement and also in the middle of the house, right?
Well, it's even it is really there's really no there is no options for windows where
it's like a Vegas casino. You have no idea if it's day or night. You just keep going, right?
That's why you just keep gambling.
And you just keep smoking and drinking while you're down there too, right? Anything goes.
Do you have any beverages over there on your end? Or?
Actually, you know what? I do. I'm getting it. Busy day.
Whoa.
Scooters cold brew, baby. And so I'm not sure Scooters, if that's around other parts of the country, or if that's just a upper Midwest thing. It's probably everywhere. But they don't have, for people that aren't familiar with it, it's a little coffee drive-through. They do not have an inside restaurant. It's drive-through only. And I am partial to their cold brew.
Is there one in Western Northeast South Dakota?
There is. There's a lot in Eastern Southeast South Dakota.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It's actually... now that
looks
a little
more
refreshing.
Traditional.
Yep.
It's maybe not what you think it is. Can you tell the flavor by the color of the can?
Well, I was gonna say like raspberry or strawberry.
Oh yeah, it's raspberry. It's a raspberry bubbly. Tastes all that much sweeter when you drink it right out of a drink spotter.
Mm-hmm. The cold metal keeps it cold.
This is my new prop for the podcast.
Yeah, I like it. You know what? All right, talking on the subject of food. Anyone else from the Midwest may have input on this as well, but we have Hy-Vees. There's a lot of Hy-Vees.
Where there's a helpful smile in every aisle.
You nailed it. Did you actually used to work at Hy-Vee in college too, Tanner?
No.
Just Menards.
Yeah. I just know all the jingles.
And it's been a long time. I remember when I was in college more, I had some buddies that lived in a town with a Hy-Vee, and we'd get Hy-Vee Chinese, Hi Chai, and
we'd get Hy-Vee.
And getting back to Hy-Vee Chinese, man, $10, double entree meal, a bunch of rice, and a crab rangoon or an egg roll. That is it's so good. And sure, as far as Chinese food goes, I don't even know how it compares, but man, it is. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
I'd be up for that.
It's so good.
That's a good meal.
$10, and there's so much meat in there, along with rice. It's been one of my hot spots since I've moved to the area here.
I'd be all over that. What do you give your Scooter's cold brew coffee? What rating do you give it?
It's tricky because we're kind of on a different scale now. We're on a cold brew scale.
We're on the Scooter's cold brew
as far
coffee
as cold
scale.
brew goes, I think it's pretty good. I give it about a 4. This is one of my preferred cold brews.
Okay.
It doesn't have an overly weird taste. Some cold brew is weird. I don't know. I think this is good.
Yeah. 4. I give the raspberry bubbly a 3.5. It's right there where it should be, I guess.
Yeah. Yep, I believe that. I don't know if have we done raspberry on the show before, do you know?
I'm not sure. Someone could probably check the annals, but
I guess there's nobody will ever know.
Yeah. Okay. let's see, what part of this do we want to talk about next? Maybe we should play. Maybe we should play Has He Seen It?
Back by popular demand.
Yeah, because everyone's been bitching about not having Has He Seen It for the last couple episodes. So everyone wants to know, have you seen it? And I think we got to do it.
I agree. Let's get it going.
Okay. So Has He Seen It? You probably don't even remember what year we're going to be on.
You've been switching it up on me. I have no idea. For all I know, we're going to be back in black and white movies or something.
We're going to go. I hope your computers are ready for this, because we're going to go Y2K.
Oh, baby. That's okay. I unplugged it from the internet before we got started here.
Should be fine then. Okay. So Has He Seen It? You remember how we play? I got a list of movies here from the year 2000, and each one will find out, have you really seen it or not?
And you're just going to fire them off.
Yeah, 1999, you got 5 out of 7. In 2000, we're going to go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, 7 again. I think I'm going to go 5. I think I'm going to go 5.
Yeah.
I was kind of hitting my stride here.
2000's kind of like 1999, where there's way too many like obvious movies that I didn't pick like the top 5 because we've all seen it. Those like, I also didn't pick all the hardest ones in the world, but I just picked a little bit different variety here, but still hitting on a few different genres. And you're in for a treat, because some of them this week are going to be audio clues for you.
Oh, all right.
So
not just your masterful descriptions of them.
No, we'll so if we're ready, we'll here's the first one. Here's the first audio clue on Has He Seen It? The year 2000.
Dude, where's my car? Where's your car, dude?
Dude, where's my car? I have probably seen 70 times, if not more. That might be, out of every show we've ever had on this list, the movie I've seen the most.
You see the most, yeah.
Oh, God. That year 2000, so what am I, 11-ish then? Like 11. By the time it came out on video, I was probably 12, maybe 13 even.
Yeah.
Oh, that is prime. Dude, Where's My Car is a prime movie for people in that age, as far as what you think is funny.
What's humorous, yeah.
Oh, God, it did all the right things. I love Dude, Where's My Car. I probably haven't seen it in a little while.
I haven't seen it for a really long time.
Actually, you know what? I remember because I was thinking, why did I watch this recently? It was on a flight. I was on a flight in the last 2 years, and it had movies on it. And one of the movies to pick from was Dude, Where's My Car? And I watched it on a flight and still laughed quite a bit. I tried to get my wife to laugh with me, and she fell asleep in the first 10 minutes. So it was I was all alone, but I was enjoying it a lot.
I mean, I knew you had seen that one, but I also couldn't take all of them off the list. Sometimes I just want to talk about the certain movies, so they go on the list. Just
that was a pretty iconic one as far as comedies go. There was a lot of repeatable lines.
So that's what Ashton Kutcher and
Sean William Scott. Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So starting off 1 for 1. So number 2, Has He Seen It? Boiler Room.
Who's in that one? I gotta look. I don't think
Boiler Room is Ben Affleck, and then Vin Diesel is also in Boiler Room, and then there's some other people you'd know too, but those are the two that come to my mind right away.
I was thinking of Panic Room, which I have not seen either. But
Panic Room, that's a woman. That's what's
isn't that
her
Halle
name?
Berry in that one?
Maybe I was thinking the woman from Silence of the Lambs or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking of Silence of the Lambs actually.
That is Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster.
There you go. I have not seen that. I have not seen that one either. Hate to ruin that for you, but no, have not seen Boiler Room. I'm not even sure what it's about.
It's I might be confusing a few movies, but it's
I'm actually testing you now because I have the synopsis right here. So
here's what I have seen
it
a few times. It's good. From what I remember, I really like Boiler Room, but I haven't watched it in a long time. But I think Ben Affleck is running this place, and one of the other main characters, he comes in there, he wants to be on Wall Street and stuff, and he can't make it at their place, so he winds up at this place, and it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a Ponzi scheme. Maybe it's a Ponzi scheme, or maybe they're just they're doing something shady, and like they're all kind of making money in their quasi Wall Street. They're kind of doing what real traders are doing, and then it crumbles on them. That's what I think.
I'm going to give you like an 8 out of 10 as far as the
Okay.
synopsis there.
Yeah.
If you want the concise version, it would be a college dropout attempting to live up to his father's high standards gets a job as a broker for an investment firm, which puts him on the fast track to success, but the job might not be as legit as it first seemed to be.
Right. There you go.
You nailed it.
So you're 1 out of 2.
Oh boy, I can't miss too many more here.
Okay, next one. Has he seen it? Snatch.
Oh yeah, yes. It's Guy Ritchie, right? Is that who directed those?
I don't know.
Snatch, Lock, Stock, and Two, Smoking Barrels. Yes, I have seen Snatch. Oh yeah, Brad Pitt. You like dogs?
Brad Pitt,
That whole
yeah.
thing. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, what's he saying? He's asking if you like dogs. Yes, I have seen that. Good movie.
I figured you'd probably seen that, but that could be an up in the air one too. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a gimme that people have seen Snatch probably 22 years later.
Yeah, that's Guy Ritchie. It's very like stylized in how they do
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, and I'm all about that. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. Have not seen it in a very long time though.
Me either. Okay, you're 2 of 3 right now. For the fourth one, we're going to go back to an audio clue on this one.
All right.
Wilson! I'm sorry!
I think Zoom's.
sorry, Wilson!
Zoom-
I'm sorry!
Well, everyone else would have been able to hear it. So
Zoom's doing its thing where it's really hard
yeah.
to.
Yeah, but that is everyone else will be able to hear that fine. So it is Castaway. It was Tom Hanks yelling at.
Okay,
Wilson.
it's funny because at first I thought you were maybe playing a Toy Story clip because in my mind it sounded like Tom Hanks, and my boy loves Toy Story right now. That movie plays every day in our house, so I have seen Toy Story in case you were wondering there. But
We'll get to that.
I
in
have
a later year.
not seen Castaway. I've never seen it.
I know I've been on record on the show that I love Castaway. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't even have a good explanation of why that is. But I often I've watched it a bunch of times, and I can definitely fall asleep through it because the movie has like no talking for what seems like hours,
Yes.
Over an hour at points in it. But I just really like Castaway.
Yeah, I would love to watch that one. I've just never done it.
2 out of 4 so far. Okay, next one. Has he seen it? American Psycho.
Oh yeah, I've seen American Psycho multiple times. It used to be one of those movies where, for whatever reason, we'd get home from the bar at 2, 3 in the morning, and it was let's turn American Psycho on. Kind of a weird movie to turn on then, but it's a
is kind of a
classic.
weird
It is
movie.
one of those cult classics. You got to watch it. Yeah, I got to return some tapes. That whole thing. And, Christian Bale just plays this crazed psycho guy so well. You should definitely watch that movie.
There's
if
a
you
lot of
haven't.
notable scenes from that. Like
There is. A
the
lot
business
of
card thing is, people bring up that one a lot.
Yeah,
but-
the business card scene, the one with him having sex, looking at himself in
Yeah.
the mirror. That's a meme that gets used all the time.
I like the one use it for a meme years ago for Massenomics where he's going through his morning routine of like his exfoliating.
Yes,
and, like,
his skincare and all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, that is a classic. People should definitely watch that one.
yeah. All right, 3 for 5. Next, we're going audio clue again. So we'll see how well you can hear this, but
Yeah.
we'll go audio clue.
I don't want fop, goddammit. I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Do you need to hear it again?
Nope. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen it multiple times. That is a
Yeah.
good movie. It's a fun movie. That is a fun movie.
I also love Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like I had to put that one on the list just because I love that movie. I don't know how wide. I mean, obviously very popular movie, but seems maybe a little underrated to me. I don't know.
I remember at the time thinking that seemed when I was like I said, 11.
Yeah.
I remember at the time thinking that seemed like it was a really big movie. It didn't quite relate to me at that time, and I never watched it.
Right.
It probably wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I actually watched it. But it is fun. They got the whole catchy song thing going,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're on the
Soggy
run.
Bottom Boys.
Yeah, that's a fun movie.
Okay, you said yes to that one. So what are you now? Are you 4 for 6?
Got a
4 for
clean
6.
sweep
So
in
you
here.
didn't see Castaway or Boiler Room. Okay, last one. Has he seen it? I think you've probably seen it. Have you seen it? Little Nicky.
I have seen Little Nicky, and I have only seen this movie once. I saw it in the theaters, and that was it. So I remember almost nothing about this movie other than get in the flask.
Yeah,
that
get in the flask. That's
that's
I was
what I
going to pull
remember
an
about that
audio
movie.
clip for it, and that was the one I was going to pull, but I didn't get to that.
That was also a thing we used to like to say a lot when we were younger. It was really funny to do. I remember so little of it, but I have seen it.
I still couldn't pull out a flask or have someone pull out a flask and not say, get in the flask.
Yeah. Is it Cassius? Is that the guy that?
That sounds
Get in
right.
the flask, Cassius.
Not one of Adam Sandler's top tier comedy
I
movies.
think
don't
that was the beginning of a bit of a downward trend for him because he had been on a pretty hot streak up until that point.
Yeah.
And then it showed, okay, this guy's capable of making movies that aren't as funny as what he's done in the past.
Right.
And then his track record's been very spotty since then.
Yeah. So you finished a pretty respectable 5 for 7 in the year 2000.
I called it.
Yep. Called your shot.
I guess you could say I'm a bit of a movie guy.
That's starting to look that way, isn't it? It is starting to look that way. Okay, how about a little supporting our supporting members?
I like it.
This is a relative. When I say little, this is relatively little. I have a shorter segment this week supporting our supporting members. For anyone that doesn't know, this is a relatively new segment of the Massenomics podcast. We have a group of supporting members that choose to sign up for our supporting membership, and each week, one of the things we do is give back to them through this segment. We shout out any of them that maybe did something cool. Maybe they competed in a powerlifting meet, a strongman competition, or just anything cool in their life. If we're aware of it, we'll like to throw it in here and give them support. In addition to that, if you're a supporting member, you get access to our online Discord community, which is a growing community of like-minded individuals. It's extremely active. It's going on all the time. You get access to a discount code. You get special information on drops. You might get early access to signing up to powerlifting meets that we put on. That's been a perk that you've gotten in the past, and really too many things to mention here today, or else we just have a whole podcast about how good our supporting membership options are. So this week, we want to support Big Justin. Big Justin did a powerlifting meet where he squatted 397, he benched 236, and he deadlifted 452 for a 1085 total. So well done, big, strong Justin.
Next time, 1100's going down.
Yep. I guess also good call out, big shout out to Big Nate for taking sexy plates with the Strength Co plates.
Yes. You have to be a member of the Discord to know what that's about.
Yeah, those are exclusive to the Discord. So thank you to all of our supporting members. One final shout out.
It was also your birthday, Tanner. Are you still recovering from the party?
Yeah, it was a wild birthday party for me. Turn the big Submasters +1, or as some other might call it, 36.
When's actual Masters? 40?
40.
So you could say Masters -3.
Masters, yeah. I'm getting close, right?
Yep.
It's
Every
my
day.
Submasters window is really closing in on me.
Your prime is escaping you.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. That's all for.
But you said you had one other person before I cut you off.
Oh God,
there,
what was it now? What was I talking about?
Supporting members.
One other thing. The Discord crew patches went out this. Everyone was getting those this last week. So everyone, as an additional support to our supporting members, the secret package that we'd been working on has not been delivered to everyone, but a lot of you by now would be the crew patch. So you are all now officially patched members. Mm-hmm. Except for the 3 so far that I've gotten notification back on that they got the envelope in the card, but no patch in there. So my son Jack has been, he's gotten quite an earful about that.
Oh yeah. He's never gonna live that one down.
I tell him, I didn't want you to do a fast job. I wanted you to do a good job. Not a fast job, a good job. There's a difference.
It's the old thing, you get what you pay for, right?
That's a fair point. He's not allowed to say that, though. So those people, if you did get that, the 3 of you have your patch on the way now, too.
Well, good. I'd hate to ruin anyone's year by them not getting their patch, so.
Now what do you think? A little more, should we hit them with some subtle advertisements?
Yeah, I'll take it away here. Today's show is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell, building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best knurling and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
I'm going to be kicking off the Discord while you read this next one.
Right.
So bye, Discord.
See you guys and gals. This episode is also brought to you by our good friends over at Spud Inc. That's spud-inc-straps.com. Check them out. Spud Inc. started because the lifting straps available at the time were not tough enough to handle the daily punishment that comes with training as a powerlifter, or that could easily fit in your gym bag. Spud Inc. created their straps to withstand whatever your training puts them through. Finally, training gear that works as hard as you do. Whether you're looking for belts, harnesses, or deadlift straps, Spud Inc. has you covered. I would add, that's even just like a tip of the iceberg list of what they would have you covered on. Spud Inc. would have you covered on just about anything that you could throw in a big gym bag, or just about any equipment you could use at your gym. So make sure to check them out at spud-inc-straps.com. When you order, let them know that Massenomics sent you, and any orders over $75 domestic will receive free shipping. So thank you, Spud Inc. Tommy, did you boot those people?
They're booted.
All right. Well, should we get Big Josh on the horn then?
Let's do it.
No time like the present, right?
That's what they say.
Okay. Hopefully the audio for our guest comes in better than last week.
God, I hope so.
Couldn't be worse, could it?
I mean, it could, but we wouldn't have an episode then, so.
Can you hear that?
Hey, yes, got you.
Hey, Big Josh, is that you?
What's going on?
Hey, Josh, this is Tanner and Tommy. How's it going?
What's up, Josh?
Hey, guys, how are you? What's up going on?
We're good. We're excited to get you on. We've been wanting to for a while, and we were recording during the day here for once. You said your the night owl stuff doesn't work for you, so we got
that doesn't work for me. It'd be a mush brain podcast. It'd be nothing.
Well, ours are kind of mush brain anyways, so it might not.
Yeah.
No, we are excited to get you on. I guess what do you tell people if you got to give up, they ask you what you do, or they ask about Jailhouse Strong and what you got. What's your 5 minute or less, or a couple line things that you tell them usually?
I would say that honestly, I don't really tell them anything usually that other people do.
Well,
I can tell you. Hold on, I'll pull up my bio on LinkedIn. I say best-selling author, strength coach, speaker, and I help people grow stronger mentally and physically.
I think that's perfect, and we've kind of got questions about all of that stuff. And for anyone that doesn't know, you are starter runner of Jailhouse Strong is the main name of your company, or what a lot of people would know you by, right?
Right, yeah. So I got a partner on that one, and then I have my joshstrength.com too. So I got both those.
Okay. So, and I'm sure you've answered this to other people before, but it's a kind of a fun and interesting question. But why Jailhouse? Where did that come from? Jailhouse Strong.
Okay. Are we actually recording now?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're already going. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
We don't waste any time around here.
Got it. That's great. I thought so, but I just want to make. Yeah, so a friend of mine, Don Benshi, and I, we were talking about the guy I actually started it with. We were talking about sort of like, one day we'd been talking about doing something together, And it came back to a lot of I used to work at 16 years old. One of my first jobs was basically managing a hardcore gym. I go there at nighttime. And a lot of the people that were the strongest there happened to be, ex-cons. So I learned a lot of information because I'm a 16-year-old kid, like an open book, just soaking this all in. And beyond that, so that was like a lot of the training philosophy was like, obviously the barbell, like the kind of hardcore, core barbell movements, some like higher rep assistance exercises and body weight finishes, kind of how a lot of these guys trained. So picked up a lot of good stuff that way. Then psychologically, it also meant to basically everybody's imprisoned by something. They have some form, of self-imprisonment. So we want to help people become mentally and physically free of that. If it's not a sedentary lifestyle, if there's psychological blocks, whatever it is, you have a way to empower people to free themselves from whatever form of self-imprisonment they're in.
Right on. So you were like actively kind of managing a gym already by the time you were 16?
I say so. I didn't set the policies or anything, but absolutely, yeah.
Right,
so
right.
I'd go there, and it was like Ed Cohn had come to this gym, Dr. Fred Hatfield, all sorts of people. Then all like that. So I was like literally training like the bouncers from the strip club at like 16 years old. Because I had a guy named Steve Hall that taught me how to kind of lift, and he didn't go to that gym. So I just started. I got all these people who are asking me as 16-year-old because I was really strong for my age. And I've been lifting seriously since I'm 12, and I started lifting at 5. I was thinking the YMCA room, but I was serious since I was 12. So I was stronger than a lot of these people, and they let me basically they were my guinea pigs. So I'd go in there and write them programs and all this stuff. So I was managing the gym and training people before I knew it was a way you could actually earn a living.
Yeah, and I think like to put it in perspective to people, when you say you're really strong when you're 16, you are really strong. How much were you bench pressing at that point in time?
I know at 17 I hit 400.
Okay.
And at 16, at 14 I hit 300. And it's interesting is 300 to 400 was like the hardest. One of those kind of like 500 to 600 was easier. For some reason, the 300 to 400 was pretty because I guess I was doing so much stuff and all that. But yeah, I hit 300 to 14. I hit 400 at 17. I hit 500 at 19, 600 at 22.
Just nice, steady progression.
Right.
Yeah, and you were competing in powerlifting at the time too, right? I mean, I think if I look at open powerlifting, you have several meets that you were in.
Yeah, I started the first one at a bench press competition. I was 15 years old. It was the 1996 AAU North American Bench Press Championships. And actually, it was pretty interesting. Is back then, gear lifting was more the rage, so to speak. So, but they had a raw division. It may have been one of the first meets in an official, actual raw division. And a guy named Richard Schoenberger was there, bench 611 raw. I saw that. And then he was the training partner and best friend of C.T. Fletcher.
Okay.
So I got to see him at 15 years old and talk to those guys. So I used to, honestly, a lot of it was being a go-getter. I would just get people's phone numbers and call them up and say, hey, can I come down and train you? Usually they say yes. So I had a chance to learn from all these people and stuff.
Where did you grow up at then? Where was that gym at? And where?
That was in Santa Barbara, California.
Okay.
And I would live in Texas now and have for about 17, 18 years. But I would go down to LA, Orange County, places like that.
Yeah,
so I'd drive.
That's
for
pretty crazy
3 or 4
hard
years.
how hard you were hitting it at that young of an age.
Well, at 19, 20, 21, 18, I was driving 137 miles to squat every Saturday. I'd get up in the morning, 5 in the morning. I had an exact routine. I knew exactly where I'd be on the road. I'd stop to this one place for breakfast on the way. I would stop at this one gas station. I guess they don't have energy drinks then, but to get some coffee or something. Then I would be at the gym 8:45. We'd start at 9. So I was literally driving nearly 300 miles round trip every Saturday to train.
So who are you training with then?
I was training with Paul Leonard. He's actually pretty active on Instagram. He is he's I guess he's in his 50s now. A guy named Art Labar. they were kind of like the really strong guys in Southern California at the time, and they were real helpful to me. Like, took me under their wing. I'd drive down and train with them, and they, treated me like one of the gang because they saw my commitment.
Yeah. Something cool that you do with Jailhouse Strong, it's making me think of it now. You post a lot of information about older lifters, like lifters from the past and stuff like that. Are you kind of like, do you feel like a historian on that sort of stuff, or is it just, just stuff you picked up because you kind of lived it and were training with a lot of them at that point in time, or what? Are you just into that?
I think it's a combination of all the above, because basically, like I said, I don't have my own agenda. There's not like one single like Josh Bryant method. If you look at like the books, programs, all that, they're like different because they all work. And but there's not one way to do it. So I've just had to my always thing is about getting people results. That's all I care about. So a lot of that is going to come back to, because obviously while we're advancing in a way, like people are stronger than they've ever been. No one can dispute that. But there also a lot of people are weaker too. If you look at how many more people are in the sport and stuff, that obviously the top guys are stronger, but we're at the 50th percentile and things like that. So there is a lot of good information in the past. There was way less people doing it, and there was more of a social stigma to do it. Now you can actually do it to be popular. Back then it was like fighting a stigma.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Talking about the big benchers, yourself included, you've coached a lot of really big benchers now here over the last several years, and just some of them that come to mind, of course, Julius Maddox, James Strickland, and I know there's a bunch of others that you've coached that have all benched
Jeremy Hornstra, TD, all sorts of people.
Yeah, so a bunch of them that have benched over 600 pounds, if not over 700 pounds.
Yeah, I lost track at 20 over 600. It's a lot more now.
So, what do you do for these guys, or like what commonalities do you see from these guys? Obviously they're hard workers, and a lot of them gifted it all even before they get to you. But of
course.
But still, there's something to coaching them from that point. Like, what do you notice similar between like this group of extremely strong bench pressers?
You mean like the similarities between them all?
Yeah, similarities between them all, and differences for that matter too. Like, how are you able to coach them? Like, are there any general rules that you find that are similar amongst this like elite group of bench pressers, and also like differences amongst them too?
Well, I think some of the main, just like, I guess, principles would be a lot of times they don't recover as fast because they're so strong. So you have to keep that in mind of like James Strickland is not going to bench press as often heavy as, somebody else not at that level. Same for Julius Maddox, even more extreme example. Jeremy Hornstra, all these people, they're so explosive. You have to be because they're fast gainers. So they're primarily composed of fast twitch fibers. So they're not going to recover as fast as somebody that's more slow twitch, of fibers and things like that. So you have to keep that in mind. I would say that's one of the biggest similarity is most of them, that's not always the case, but most of them don't seem to recover as fast. Most of them are very explosive people. Like they have very explosive upper bodies, like TD, for example. Yeah, I guarantee if you got them, even now, if you got him with some good boxing coach for a couple years, could be a deadly pro boxer, assuming he takes a punch well and all that stuff, which I assume he would, because he's so explosive. These guys are very explosive upper bodies. They don't usually, and that's tied into not recovering as fast, but they're very explosive. I think another key with all these guys is not getting hurt. So, a lot of that comes with like training that's one thing where like the training frequency is real high is on the upper back. Like most of these guys I have do some sort of upper back work every single time they train. Another thing is not majoring in the minors. So for example, like I think a lot of mistake I personally made is trying to get too crazy on various accessory exercises. And you get so heavy on those things, the risk starts to outweigh. You got to risk the benefit equation. It's in everything you do, whether you're playing the stock market, fighting MMA or bench pressing. There's a risk and there's a benefit to everything you do. And you obviously want to try to minimize the risk as much as possible with, getting as much benefit as you can. And so when you get to a certain point, if you say you're capable, I'm sure Julius Maddox, if we said, hey, you know what, we're going to really focus on your triceps, we get him doing like 180-pound dumbbell extensions in each hand. But would that help him bench press more? Because with the elite, the cream of the crop, it's a different breed when you get to a certain level. Like, always say 70% of your max is a good point to be in your overhead press and bench press is like sort of a guide to structural balance, for example. So if Julius Maddox goes 800 bench press, then like say goes to 900, I mean, is he gonna be, doing overhead presses with 630 or, it gets a certain point where it becomes absurd and these people are outside.
Scale. It doesn't apply to hit whatever might apply to someone else. Doesn't make any sense to him.
So, and then you got to also remember with all these people, you're not the same lifter necessarily. You're not the same person. Like, as you evolve, or that's maybe not the right word, but as you build yourself up, things change. And for example, like one of the lifts I like to build, if someone's totally injury free in the pec and shoulder, is a wide grip pause bench press. So you go a couple inches wider than your normal grip and do a really long pause on the bottom to build bottom end power, like in the 6 to 8 rep range. Okay, I wouldn't mess with that with somebody with longer arms and a small chest, because you look at how deep they have to go down to touch their chest there, that it's pretty rough on the shoulders. So let's say that same lifter that wasn't able to do that gains 100 pounds and now has a big old barrel chest. Well, at the bottom of his bench press now, his elbow may only be at 90 degrees, whereas 120 before adding all that mass. So at that point, we could incorporate it. So like, but then all of a sudden he's bench pressing, say 600 instead of 400. So he may not recover as fast, even though like in most sports where you do it all the time, you recover faster. This, you're getting so much heavier that, how much weight you're lifting, you're going to recover slower. Your work capacity is higher, but the intensity is so much higher that it doesn't, like I think Mike Mentzer talked about that before, about basically over the course of someone's lifting career, he was saying something along the lines of if you, over time you can triple your, I'm just making up the number, but double or triple your strength, but your capacity to work, only for volume only goes up like 30%. That's probably an exaggeration, but the point being, like, you don't keep like being able to do more and more and more.
Right. What do you think, like, it seems like on the bench press record, Kirill Serchev, he had it for a while before that. The big guy.
Scott Mendelson had it for a while. James Henderson.
And like, it got to these numbers that, like, it seemed like even before Julius, it's like, who's ever going to be able to break that? Like, that's kind of like part of the perception for a while. And then he comes in, like, he kind of obliterates it. So what I wonder, I just wonder, where do you think that could go? Like, do you think someone's going to come around out of the woodwork in like 5 years from now? Like, could someone bench 900 pounds raw? Like,
they could. It's just the issue is going to be not getting hurt.
Yeah.
So that's the issue, not the strength to do it. It's going to be not getting hurt. That's why, like, see, like, more serious injuries. If you tear your quad, say you get it repaired, you be back to squatting pretty quickly and stuff. Bench pressing is smaller muscles, so if something, you tear a pec or something, it's a much tougher road to recovery. Shoulder problems from doing all that weight and things like that versus like, the hips, the knees, and the lower back. That's where the problem would be. Is not people's capabilities. It has to be someone like ironclad joints, tendons, ligaments, things like that, more than like, anything else.
That makes sense.
So do you think, do you see, there has been some major bench progress over the last 10 years with the record. Do you think 10 years from now, we will see some more major additions to what the world record is?
I think people are capable, but it's tough to say what will happen. I think Julius will get over 800 this year and go beyond that. I don't know the bench has made less progress, I would say, than like the other lifts.
Yeah. Right.
But it's also like a thing of equipment and stuff. You get like, different deadlift bars, things like that.
Right.
Where the bench press, like what's come along that's obviously you take the shirt out of it, then what's come along that's helping you as much. Yeah, so it's that part, and then it's like I said, it's like and then also like even the BS standards, because you look at like some of the past world records, you know, may not have been paused properly, but they still get the weight up. Where like cutting a squat, you know, way high, it's going to be a difference. Where like Julius, you know, is not going to be, you know, it's not going to help him that much more to touch and go it.
Right.
Kind of thing, you know, so there's that part too. So I don't know where it is. I'd certainly say the bench is made. I think people just get hurt because, like, you know, I mean, what Jim Williams or Kazmaier in the early 80s benched, you know, 661. Jim Williams, you know, was supposedly doing 700. You know, he's 675 officially, but he had the light elbow wraps on. I have no idea how much those help. I don't think a lot. But we're looking at a long time ago. The first person to bench press 600 was, you know, when was it? 1967.
Who, like Pat Casey or something?
Pat Casey.
Yeah,
then
Pat Casey,
then 30 years later, 97, James Henderson hit, you know, 700. Then now we're at officially, so no reps. Okay. Now we're at, you know, we're almost coming up on that 30. I guess we're at, you know, 26 years. Right. So in that natural progression of 100 pounds every 20, 30 years, we're at that time where Julius will do it. And obviously, with like anything else, like it's going to slow down. I mean, because you look at like the long jump, you know, someone first broke, you know, 29 feet in 1968 at the Mexico City Olympics, and no one's at 30 yet. So, I mean, obviously, there's a point where things would slow down. I don't know where that's at. It's going to be, I'm telling you, it's going to come down to joints, tendons, ligament, obviously the proper training, but that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch. What about the guy from the other, I don't know what country he's from and what his name is, but you know, I haven't seen it as much lately, but for a while there he was posting lifts in the gym where he was putting up a lot of weight, I don't know, 700 plus, and I think there's maybe some controversy there of how legitimate some of that was.
I would say there's not really controversy. I'd say everybody's accepted the fact it was fake.
Right. That's probably a better. I mean, that's what I was curious if that
controversy means like there's people on both sides of the issue on a large amount.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you are definitely in the camp that was probably very not legitimate going on, whatever was going on there.
I would say so for sure. I mean, it's Iran, right? So I mean, I would assume their government would support anything they could do to make us look bad here.
Right. Wasn't there talk he was going to come compete against Julius at some point in time?
Supposedly.
Yeah, and that obviously didn't happen, right?
I mean, yeah, it's talking pretty big for one fat man, as they say. But I got some weird messages. He told me I was his best friend and stuff, and I never met the guy. I don't know I almost think we might have been getting a joke played on us too, you know?
Yeah, he didn't ask you to coach him then?
No, he put his coach in his video. Remember, the guy
up in the little corner.
You missed a chance to have your face in the corner.
James Strickland did it too for me.
That's what I was gonna say. You gotta start requiring that Julius and James and all those guys do that for you. Put my coach with a little arrow to picture your face.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The only reason I ever post about it is like I just don't want to like. For the most part, my theory is if you bring like attention to someone acting a fool, then you're kind of like in a way supporting it just because they want attention. I mean, the guy obviously was strong. I mean, look at him. He's definitely got strength. But I don't, you know, for example, you know, I don't really care. I'll go into here for a minute. The other thing that was fishy about it is, okay, so Julius Julius had missed 800, and that guy said at that point, like, he's like, you know, wanting to battle Julius all the time. He said, I'm gonna like, Julius is gonna go off season at that point, kind of like back everything down, do more volume, more capacity, things of that nature. That guy was saying, you know, like, oh, I need to get my weight down from, you know, whatever. And my thing would be, if this guy was a serious competitor, is he thinking, as soon as you like, I mean, if you like start to just, you know, what do they say? You know, when the dog's belly up, you go in there and you attack. That's what I would do. If I thought I want to get this person and I sense that weakness, I would attack them and want to, you know what I mean? At that point, I'd go after that 800 and make them look like a fool, not be like, oh, well, he's not going to do it, so I'm going to back it. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It's illogical.
Is there anyone out there that you haven't gotten the chance to coach that you would have really loved to, that maybe you thought you could have, whether you just thought you would have loved to, or maybe even thought that you could have done something, taken them beyond where they're at?
Well, I would say most of the people, obviously, I mean, not to be arrogant, but I definitely would take them farther. I don't know. A lot of it's personality too, is like how well you mesh with somebody or don't mesh with somebody. So just because someone could lift a lot, if the personality's not right, then it's not going to work anyway. So I don't know everybody out there, but
yeah, that's fair.
I haven't given like deep thought. I'm always like, I'm pretty good at focusing on what I'm focusing on. So like, if like, say, let's just say, for example, like, you know, somebody's had a Julius, I'm not thinking like, oh, how can I get that person in my camp? I'm thinking of like, okay, how can I help Julius get past that person?
Right. Okay. How many books have you written? I know it's a lot. It's got to be a lot.
I know it's over 20. I don't know the exact number. I mean, most of them on Amazon. The only ones that aren't are like, I've done some for ISSA, the personal training certification, that you have to like be enrolled in the certification to get access to. Other than that, they're on Amazon. I know it's over 20 because I counted a little while ago. It was 20 a bit ago. So
how many books are you working on writing like right now?
At the moment, none. Right at the second.
Okay, I figured maybe you always had a couple going or something like that.
No, I just put one out. We just put one out a couple, like a week or two. It was a week ago today, actually, on mental training on powers of the mind. So
do you usually always print a physical copy, or is it a lot of ebooks, or what do you
Both.
Always print a physical copy?
So with Amazon, the deal we got with them is like they do they do both. But I feel like they're they say like all the numbers, trends, and what have you suggest everything's going to ebooks, but I feel like it's sort of like a forced trend, if that makes sense. Like they want it to go that way.
Right.
So like, I don't know, what the deal is, but like it used to be like if you got say you could get like when Jailhouse Strong came out, that was like 9 years ago. 8.5 years ago. So what would happen is you get that book up usually on Kindle, and then it'd be up in paperback within like a couple days. The last few have taken like about a month to be up on paperback with our Kindle like immediately.
I get that the ebook is like that's become more popular, but if I'm really into something, I always like having the book. It's just like part of the
for
sure.
Especially like if you're studying it, the way that you can flip between pages and make notes, and I totally get why you'd want a paper book.
Yeah, so they're all in both. The newest one's not in paperback, but it will be. I'm just saying it takes a little longer. I think you got both because I like real books better myself too. However, it's pretty cool if you got like Kindle. Like I don't have a Kindle per se, like the actual thing. It's just app. So if you have a smartphone, you can have a Kindle. Like when people say, "I don't have a Kindle, I can't buy your book." They're always interested to know. So no, actually, you can. You just need to get the app for free. But I like the part where you can go in there and you can highlight things and put notes in. Once you play around with it and go on the back end yourself, you can find your notes pretty easy.
Yeah,
that way.
What does it mean? Oh, go ahead, Tom. You go.
I was gonna say, so 20 books is a lot of content. And looking through that, is there one that sticks out on your mind of like you got done with it and looking back, you're like, man, that book, like we nailed it, like that thing's a masterpiece, or are you just equally proud of all of them?
I'd say definitely equally proud of all of them. There's some that are better, like, than others. It just depends on, what I like. The tactical strongman one, I think is really good, for that kind of thing, because there's nothing else like it. So it filled a niche right then and there. I think, obviously Jailhouse Strong that's going to be like for that niche of like, like garage gyms and things like that. So if you don't have anything, obviously as a pretty extensive section on body weight. So that's helpful. And then also like garage gyms and things of that nature where, it's more minimal equipment and it filled that niche and people enjoy reading it because it's got some interesting history in there and written in an entertaining style. The Bench Press of Science book, that was, that kind of like, I think opened a lot of people's eyes, because I think it's part of the reason I've had more success with people than, early on, was like, back when I started powerlifting, they were talking about how bench pressing was like only, with your lats, your triceps, and your chest didn't matter. And I knew that wasn't true. So I always had advocated, bottom end work, direct chest work as an accessory since I was a kid. And I was able to put that in that, a lot of that stuff in that book. And I think it helped open other people's eyes to it, because at that point it was more like my theory, but I found a lot of, it's called the science, because then I found, actually scientific sources to back there'd actually been stuff that had been studied that would bring further validity to it. So then the Metroflex power building one was really good too, because that was sort of like, a lot of people are into quote unquote power building. If they're not like serious about, getting ready for a certain meet or anything, I think most people want to, look like they lift weights and have some conditioning go with it, but then also be strong too.
Well, and you said Powers of the Mind is only about a week old?
It's a week old.
Okay. So for people just hearing about that now, what could you give them for a quick synopsis of what they could find in that book?
That book's going to be, it's sort of like, it's not just on mindset. So there's like the kind of like in the nutshell of the mindset, some strategies there, but a lot of exercises and things. So for example, of like, so someone says you need to watch a mental movie or visualize yourself. Well, here's how to actually do it. Like how to do that kind of stuff versus just like, successful people, have a visual picture of their goal. It's like, okay, no, sit down, do this many breaths, picture this kind of thing.
Cool.
What does it mean to actually be an Amazon bestseller? I know you've had some books that hit that, but what happens in order to be considered an Amazon bestseller?
I just assume they're not lying because you see it next to the book.
So is it like it sells a certain number of copies? Do you think?
No, it's more like in certain categories. So for example, there's like a men's health category, and then they'll have like a weight training category. They'll have different categories.
Well, right now,
so it's gonna
Powers of the Mind is rated as #1 in New Age meditation.
Yeah, see, I don't even know how they put it in there. So yeah. No, but it was in men's health, which is more prestigious. I mean, I gotta assume it's more prestigious. I don't know that category, but it was in men's health a couple of days ago, and that's going to be one of the better ones. Or that and weight training would be for these kind of books to be the better ones. I mean, obviously, you could really Mickey Mouse it and find something like you just said,
right,
or even further. I mean, I think they have like 9th century, whatever, European,
well,
studies.
That's just like powerlifting though. In open powerlifting, you just get all the filters enough, like 35 to 38-year-old men that weigh 275 to 290 in
this one very specific federation.
Right,
yeah, you're #1.
Yeah, it is. That's a whole different topic. It's crazy, like like of that kind of stuff of like, you be talking to people and you're like, they're 37-year-old or something, and they'll tell you they're a world champion. It's like one thing if you're like bragging about it, like I don't know, like the church weenie roast, and everybody's like cool, but like it's a whole other thing to brag about if people actually know what's going on. I mean, like, come on, dude, like. Like some guy told me, saying like he was like, the strongest guy in America or something a few years. I'm like, dude, there's like garbage men at LA Fitness that outlift you. Like for real. Like there are guys that come in here that can do reps on deadlift with 600 that don't even know these contests go on. Like, come on, man. Like you gotta be embarrassed saying that.
Isn't that weird though? Like this population of people that are out there that really like don't even care about strength sports in particular, but like the freaky strong abilities that some people have.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think and sometimes some instances get saved and they don't get so fixated on one lift, because obviously if you want to be like ready for any anything you can encounter, like only training your deadlift doesn't mean you can like for example, like if you have to carry, if you're like hunting or something, carry like a hog out of the woods or something, that's pretty hard to do if you can't get your truck back there, for a distance of a few hundred yards, where somebody deadlifting, 900 pounds they might have the strength to do it for 6 steps, but they're not gonna be able to do it for, 500 yards. And so like not, like you get kind of in a myopic sort of, I guess, kind of circle if all you do is powerlifting, which is great when you're competing because you want to be the best at that. But I think there's a subset of the population that are really strong that aren't pigeonholed there and just do what they want, and they've gotten pretty good results.
Well, and speaking of people that are kind of just crazy in that way, someone that pops out to me all the time that I'm like, I don't even understand this dude is Tom Havland.
Exactly.
That I'm like, but my question to you is, what the hell is with that? Like, he is insane.
Yeah, and he's exactly that. That's an extreme example of somebody like that. Of like, people say, why doesn't he compete here or there? Like, what's the point? He's just doing. The goal is to get him as physically ready as possible. And for anything,
I think he's ready.
He is. I mean, like even before he started doing all the conditioning and stuff, when I was in Australia with him, we were like hiking up mountain ranges and stuff, and he was having no problems.
What size is he? Like, what is his height and weight?
Right now, he's like 330 or so. He's been as high as like 400, and I would say he is 6'8" or so. I mean, yeah. I mean, no one is near him on that kind of stuff. He's so far ahead, and it's like, there's just no one else close to that.
Like at 6'8", 380 or whatever he weighs, he looks lean too.
He does.
Like at least through his Carhartts and stuff, he looks like.
Yeah, he's super lean.
It's crazy. I mean, it's maybe one of the craziest. I mean, I know a lot of people do know about him, but I think a lot of people don't. And this is maybe like one of the strongest, like all around humans that maybe some people don't.
It's like he keeps as low as a profile as you can for being like 6'8", almost 400, and as strong as he is. Like, it's hard to go under the radar, and he kind of does that still a little bit.
And the thing is, though, like overall strength of functionality, I don't think anybody's really close. When you look at like of those kind of scenarios, I think the people that are, you can say, okay, well, they can maybe like do more in this lift. If you factor in strength endurance, dude, they don't have a chance.
Right. How do you think, I know this isn't apparently this isn't his goal, but if he was like, you know what, I want to dip my toes into strongman, how good do you think he could be at it in like a reasonable amount of time?
Oh, I personally think he would dominate pretty quickly.
Like, you think he would win World's Strongest Man in a reasonable amount of time, probably, right?
I would think so.
Like, it seems like he would have if anyone could do it, it's like he has the size and the strength. Like,
I mean, his work capacity is so much higher because you just have to redirect the focus, but all this base would pay off. I mean, he could train 3 or 4 times a day if he needed to.
It is wild.
It is.
Where a lot of people are sucking wind after 3 or 4, heavy deadlifts in one set. It's a different ball game with him.
Right. So what does it mean to be gas station ready?
Gas station ready means, if you're at the gas station, it's 3 a.m., you're pumping gas when some wild degenerate hooligan comes up, wants your car, your ride, or your lady. Are you ready for the situation? So basically, in essence, what that means is you're ready for any situation you could encounter. I mean, that's the idea. Is like of general, physical readiness. Like that's the terminology, but really ready for anything. So if you're, you have to have, in a nutshell, besides the mentality of being ready for anything, physically, it means you're able to move like somebody smaller. You have the strength of somebody bigger, and you have the conditioning of somebody smaller. So you're basically like combining those elements.
Right on. Josh, we got this game we play with everyone that we have on. This little game we kind of close it out with. It's overrated, underrated. and we've got a special Josh Bryant Jailhouse Strong set of topics for you. So we'll shoot them over to you, and it's your job. You can elaborate on as much or as little as you want to, but you can't ride the line. You have to decide if each one is overrated or underrated.
Okay.
Okay, so overrated or underrated black singlets.
Overrated.
So what's the deal with black singlets?
You can't. It's harder to tell your depth on squats.
So is it because of like the lighting and shadows and stuff? Like it just like isn't a
Go on the Jailhouse Strong Instagram right now. I got a whole post about it today.
Okay. We'll check it out. But so your recommendation is do not wear a black singlet then for anyone.
That's my
powerlifting.
recommendation.
Yep. I've seen you say some things about that before.
The guy,
so
I actually did a seminar for in Canada is the one that really opened my eyes to it. His name's Joel McCain. It's Blacksmith Fitness, and he went through this whole thing. He's dead on. He showed a bunch of pictures and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I think that it's a big mistake, and people get mad when I put that up. I put that post up about once a year, probably, just so the reminder. And people get all bent out of shape. I just bought a black singlet. I'm like, dude, I'm not like, I'm sorry you did. I'm just
bleach it.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have any color recommendations, or is it just stay away from black?
Brighter is good.
Okay.
Overrated or underrated rucking?
Underrated.
I think you have a book out on rucking too, right?
I do have a book out on rucking. I love rucking is like, the ultimate. I'll just go more with the one-word answers unless I got a book on it, so obviously I think it's underrated. I do it all the time. I love it. It's paid off, and it's one of those things that you can really build your capacity in it. Where like when I first started doing it, it'd be hard to do something with my legs the next day, like training wise. Now anytime, so great way to build your work capacity. But I'll stick to the one-word answers. But I got a book on it, rucking gains.
All right, excellent. All right, we know you're the gas station ready guy. So, and we know you're a Texas guy.
Right.
So we don't have these here, so we really need your recommendation on it. But overrated or underrated Buc-ee's gas station or Buc-ee's truck stop?
I know if you go one or the other, we'll go through the positives. Their prices are actually pretty, except for like their barbecue is pretty reasonable. Like their junk food prices are very reasonable. Like junk food, their drink prices are really low. Like up until like a year ago, 79 cents up to like a 64-ounce drink out of the fountain. They used to have really good deals on deer corn. They've kind of gradually increased their prices. There's always some sort of entertainment there. I would say the only negative, I guess, the tough part is I have a property in Oklahoma, and we go up there. You pass right by Buc-ee's. Actually, it's open about 12 miles from my house here too. And every time we'd stop in there on the way up. I'd have my kids with me. We'd go in there, and like we end up being there for 45 minutes.
Is because there's that much to see?
Yeah, and people like talk to you. It's a nice vibe in there. So people talk to you. I guess you call it underrated. The exception be if you're a tight schedule, don't stop in.
I feel like we're missing out not having Buc-ee's up here.
It sounds like a very Midwestern gas station.
They've like randomly like, oh, I forgot batteries. Oh, they got batteries here. Oh, yeah, I need to get some loppers. They got that here. It's like, my tractor ran out of a battery. I got that here. They literally, they're kind of like the Swiss Army knife of retail of anything outdoors, because they may not always have the best, but they're going to at least have something to get you by.
Okay. Good on Buc-ee's. All right, last one. We usually save the best for last, and we always like talking fine dining on this on our show. So, overrated or underrated Waffle House?
Underrated.
So what do you like about Waffle House?
Everything. I could go into so much detail on this. I mean, they're I would say I mean, I'll tell you a little story about one. So when I lived in Tennessee, there was a bunch of, there's some sort of scandal there. And I honestly don't recall what it was, but they're all the ones I used to go to get shut down. And I started going to the more rasty ones in the rastier parts of town because there would be like more, like one of them, they had some cook that went ape shit and the customer like picked his plate up and like broke it, got mad at him. And instead of firing him, they sent him like anger management. And he was back in like a week and like freaking out again. There was another one there. There's, off Trinity Lane in Nashville. Literally, there's this old man that claimed he got divorced, had like a really high paying corporate job, got divorced, didn't want to give his wife half. So he quit that and went to Waffle House to work. And he was literally running a drug business out of this 70-year-old white guy in an all black neighborhood was running a drug business out of it. It was classic. We used to call him Wild Bill. He looked like Mr. Peepers or something. That fool was up there. There was another one. I went in there, and this guy's like talking to me. He's like, "Can I get a ride home?" And I'm like, I didn't really want to give him a ride home. He started talking to me, and I'm like, "What do you do, anyways?" He's like, he's like clown by trade. I'm like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Oh shit! I saw this guy here the other night." There's some fool in there with clown paint and crying to himself drunk. I'm like, I'm definitely giving you a ride home. And I gave this guy, turned out to be a total nutcase. His name was Jingles the Clown. And I gave him a ride home, and he lives in the attic of some hardware store. And I mean, so he was there. The same Waffle House, there'd be some other guy in there. He'd come in screaming to everybody, y'all going to hell, and tell everybody they're going to hell. I mean, it was just, there's been so many characters in entertainment. I mean, my friend's dad used to say, you hang around any bar long enough, there's three things you're going to see: a fight, a drug deal, and prostitution. Say that's true. You could say to Waffle House.
True for Waffle House.
But through all that, there's like a very nice, welcoming vibe there too. It's and their food's so good.
What's your go-to order at Waffle House?
Okay, so that's another way. There, when I was even bodybuilding, cutting down, they were accommodating. They make me like skinless chicken breasts. They would do the hash browns instead to frying them. They'd steam them and stuff. But like if I was gonna go in there right now, tough to beat the All-Star. That's
so what's on the All-Star?
Is that the Denny's Grand Slam, same sort of thing?
Yeah, but I mean that Denny's is awful compared to Waffle House.
I was looking. We're way up north here. Our closest Waffle House would be in Kansas City, Tanner. So we have about a 10-hour road trip if we want to get.
Where are you guys at? In North Dakota?
Western northeast South Dakota. So we're in the northeast corner of South Dakota.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure with all the oil roughnecks and things up there, you eventually get a Waffle House.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we don't have one up here yet, but yeah, it looks
we
like
don't even have an IHOP anymore, though. Like there's not very many IHOPs in the state.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, so Waffle House, I guess you have to. I was wanting to open one at some point. Like I don't actually want to work there. Just like I've seen so many opportunities. I'm telling you, like all these towns. There's so many towns, like from where I live, that are like say an hour out of the city, that are fairly populated now. That like a Waffle House would kill it. But I guess you have to work there for like 2 years to do it. And I just can't bring myself to do that. I got too much other stuff going on. If I had nothing to do, I'd love it. I mean, I'm sure it'd be like a very good book. I mean,
that's what I was going to say. You could tie this into a book. It would all come together.
You see, like it now, like so now it's like actually getting Waffle House is like in the news more. But like, I mean, it's you got to go to one and try to go to one. If you do, like the neighborhood ones are generally better than like the ones right off the interstate, because the ones right off the interstate you're gonna have more people, a little more transient. Where like the ones in the neighborhoods a little more are more like Cheers or something.
Right.
Like the same.
Yeah. I can get that. Have you? I don't know if it's as catchy or not, but have you ever thought about instead of gas station ready, it's Waffle House ready?
I have. I've been using that lately.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, in reality, I think in my lifetime, last year I saw a fight at a gas station. and it was out in the middle of nowhere. I had my son with me. We were walking out, and there's two guys started fighting the gas station. Like, and it was out in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty sketch. And I've seen like probably 3 fights at Waffle House. So, I mean, you think you go to a gas station like your whole life. I've seen one where, no, I've seen 2 at a gas station. I take that back. But Waffle House, I've seen 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for the fight at Waffle House. I think there's just too much time there, and too much.
You're just parked down for an hour.
Right.
Right.
Well, one of the fights I saw is this guy was mouthing off to I'm talking like this happened in instant. This guy started being rude to the waitress about his hash browns or something of that nature, and this cowboy dude just like walked over and said, like, just guy stood up and just clocked him and said, show some respect. This is like in town too. This ain't out in the middle of nowhere. This is like Little Road, because Ronnie Coleman hangs out at IHOP he hasn't learned the Waffle House gospel yet, but there's an IHOP off Little Road in Arlington, Texas. And then right up the road, there's a Waffle House. And this is like in the city. It's not like, because you see more craziness out in the middle of nowhere, but this is like right in the city.
So definitely check out Waffle House. I'm feeling it's really underrated the more we've talked about it.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
It's like the food, the entertainment. I mean, everything.
It's kind of like Buc-ee's, only with waffles.
Yeah, it's weak in that regard, though. They're not the people that work there and stuff aren't as entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Big Josh, we appreciate it. I think everyone on Instagram, everyone would find you at Jailhouse Strong. Their books,
correct.
Your books, I suppose your website or just Amazon. Yeah.
Just type in Josh Bryant and it'll come up.
Anywhere else that anyone should make sure to check you out? Your website. What's your site?
JoshStrength.com.
Okay. JoshStrength.com. All right.
Yeah, so that's more if you want more detailed, say like the Instagram posts that are a few hundred, words long. That's gonna be a lot more long, more detail.
Can someone get you to be their coach if they want to? Like, do you openly coach? Like, do you have people open spots, or is it?
As long as they're not anti-Waffle House, we can discuss it.
Perfect. As long as they're not big IHOP guys.
Yeah, I'm more of an anti-IHOPite, if that's a thing.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it.
And an anti-Denite.
Oh, no Denny's?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I actually think IHOP. I like Waffle House, but I do like IHOP. But Denny's.
Do you have Perkins at all?
Oh, thankfully, if you like that crap, you'll like these places way better. Yeah, like they're up north in Ohio and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll like Waffle House way better if that place is okay to you.
I would say it's okay. I don't know, Tommy. What do you think? Perkins is okay at best, probably, but
yeah, I feel like.
I mean, you're in a smaller town though out there, so you probably there's not many choices. So I get that.
No, we can't. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, it's getting slimmer by the year too. They keep losing more. You basically can't get breakfast.
Actually, Perkins is gone in western Northeast South Dakota. There is no more Perkins even.
Yeah,
anymore.
In the last 10 years, we've lost Perkins and IHOP. You can't get breakfast anymore.
Dang, dude. Okay.
But with the price of eggs, actually, I wonder what those places are charging for like breakfast right now.
Well, Waffle House was I don't know unless they raised it, but for a while it was 25 cents an egg extra. So say you get say your meal's like $7 or something, and it comes with 2 eggs, you could add on additional eggs for 25 cents, and they have to do 30. I think it's more like 50 now, but still you can add on.
25 cents would be a steal.
You got Tanner's mouth watering.
Yeah, no, it ain't like that no more. I mean, that's like a while ago.
Yeah.
But it was 35 cents like as of a couple years ago.
Okay. That's not bad though, still.
No, it's not.
No, I mean, if you still need, I mean, you get, 8 extra eggs for $2.80.
Right.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Check out
Waffle
Waffle
guys.
House.
Thanks
Check
for
out
having me on.
Josh Bryant, Jailhouse Strong. We appreciate it.
Thanks
Josh.
guys.
Bye.
All right. See ya.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
Those were served on a hot Waffle House plate, but they were cold beans.
Did you give him you gave him a double dose of
It was
cool beans?
a double serving. Yeah. He will have to pay 35 cents if he wants extra though.
35 cents extra for every extra cool bean.
That's right.
Boy, I don't know. Have you ever been to a Waffle House?
I have. Well, no, because they're not around
Right.
us. There's probably only been a few times in my life I've even seen one on the road, and I'm trying to think. I was looking. I got their map up here, and they have 11 locations in Phoenix. That's probably about the only place I've ever seen them because I've just never really been down south at all, which is where they almost. I maybe would have seen some in Florida, maybe, but
there's none on. I know I've been by some before. I can't recall where for sure, but
it looks like though on our way to Columbus, we would.
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah,
we pass by some?
Yeah, there's 18 in Columbus, and there's a few on the
Is there
western
any in
side
like
of the
Indianapolis? Like if you go a little.
There are some in Indiana. Let's see where Indianapolis is at. Yeah, there are some on the out. We probably actually. I'm just looking though. Even the route we take to Columbus, I don't know if we would pass. There's like one or two we maybe would pass by.
Okay,
but that would be. It is funny. We would drive all that way, and Indianapolis would be the first time we would see a Waffle House.
Yeah,
so we'd be like, what's that? 16, 18 hours down the road, and that's the first shot we have of seeing one. Because otherwise you have to go
almost
farther.
20 hours in every direction to get to a Waffle House.
Yeah, otherwise you have to go farther south down to Kansas City to get to them, and we don't go that way. So, yeah, we're kind of isolated out here, you know.
I guess. Oh, good episode, good interview though. I think with Big Josh.
Yeah, you know his whole thing about rucking here that got me thinking. You know, I go for a lot of walks with my dog.
Throw a backpack on.
I should. I might actually go on the Rogue website
or a weighted vest.
I was gonna say a weighted vest. I might go on the Rogue website, get me a weighted vest.
I keep thinking about buying a weighted vest myself for this, like when I go on the treadmill and stuff, just to make it less running.
Yeah,
just to make it more fun or something.
Yeah, just to do a little something because. I mean, yeah, I can go for an hour walk, but also that's an hour walk. It'd be nice to make that time a little more efficient, you know?
Yeah, if you threw a 50-pound weighted vest on when you're doing it, you know?
So that way when I fall in the ice, it really hurts then, right?
Great, I broke my sternum. I can't get this plate off of my chest. Did you see the big powerlifting? There's very, very, very big controversial news in the powerlifting community. It kind of rocked the powerlifting community. Miss it? And I feel like we pretty much have to talk about this, right?
Yep, it's been heard around the world.
Everyone that's been listening to this episode so far has probably been thinking, how have they talked this long and not talked about that thing?
Yeah, these guys are known for hot takes on everything, so let's give it to them.
Yeah, so I guess the news, I assume everyone else is even aware of this by now, but the news is that there was a little bit of rift in the Let's Get Stupid podcast. Mm-hmm. Tom Callis rebranded as Smart
Strength. The Toms are at it again.
Tom Callis rebranded to be his company to be called Be Better, and then Huck Finn Barbell came out with a Be Bad branding. So there's a little bit of a split there. I don't know if the podcast is going to continue. A lot of controversy going on right now.
Would you say Tom is the yin to Tom's yang?
It sure sounds like it. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome this this rift, this split that they've got in there.
That's, you know, all podcasters, eventually they go through it. They'll have to work their way through this one.
Yeah. So that was the controversy.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that.
We'll be pulling for them. They're not. They talk about Massenomics just about every week on their podcast. So we've got to see them keep going so we can hear what else they badmouth us on.
Yeah, so I just want to hear what they're saying about us all the time. So they can't stop.
Those sons of bitches. Let's see.
We have a lot of other things on the list.
We do.
Did I tell you, Tanner? I went to Costco. I'm an official.
Did you get a membership?
I'm a card carrying Costco member now.
How much does it cost to be a member?
I think it's the cheapest membership is $60 a year.
Why is there different levels?
So the higher tier gives you a % back on everything you buy. So if you are a big spend, I think the math breaks down to like $300 a month. If you spend $300 a month, then you start to make money.
Okay.
Because it's like a 2%. I think it's a 2% rebate is what you get. But yeah, that's what
we were just dealing with this on something else, and this stuff
I know
pisses me off. But I'm like, why? Like, I want it simpler.
I know.
Less options, more simplicity.
Yep, 2%. It's hard math, isn't it?
It's just like, why does there need to be multiple levels of that with like different rewards back? I'm like,
would you say it's part of gaming the system?
Well, the customers, some individual customers are sure no doubt coming ahead because of that.
Oh, yes.
But I think it's obvious the customers as a whole are not benefiting from it because, well, I suppose if they've considered a marketing expense and stuff, maybe it's worth it to them. But I think overall, the company's winning, right? I don't know.
Well, this is what's really interesting. So I saw a chart, and I didn't double check their sources, but so Costco is known for their low prices, and it's,
always
yes, yes. Did you work there in college too? But the chart that I saw was something along the lines of like Costco, the company operates at like a 2.6% profit. It's something along those lines, and it said 2% of their revenue comes from memberships. So with that logic, you would say that because of memberships, that's essentially why the company
they make money.
That's essentially why the company's able to stay profitable, because they're selling you everything else so cheap. And the other thing about Costco, if you do want to be a fan of the company, is that unlike some other mega corporations, like they pay all their employees very, very well, and they have a much better reputation. So you say, okay, if I pay you $60 a year, I get maybe better treatment. Your employees are treated better.
Yeah.
Everyone's happier to be here. If that's what it takes, then I guess be it.
No, I'm not anti the Costco membership anyways, like I am some things. I think that those reasons all do make sense to me. I just want it to be less choices and less.
It's not even just that. It's okay. There's a $60 level, a $120 level, and then also on the $120 level, they can also offer you a credit card, which gives you another 2% kickback. So now you're getting like a 4% kickback every time you go there. But I don't like opening up credit cards more.
Right.
You know, so that's I pass on that one. But overall, pretty impressed. You know, I'd been to one once in my life. It was more than 10 years ago, so I just didn't remember a ton about it. But they got some. There's a few things where you are like doing the math. It's like, wow, I'm saving money big time right here doing this.
Right.
And then there's other things where you're like, I'm not saving.
About the same.
Yeah, I'm not saving money on this, but I guess I have a huge stockpile of it. So I need to buy it once a month, once every 2 months instead of once every few weeks in a smaller package. So overall,
if we had a Costco here, I bet it wouldn't be me. I sure as hell wouldn't be going, but like we'd be I bet we'd probably use it. I bet we'd buy maybe a majority of our groceries from there.
Yeah. There's. I was pretty impressed, and so I'll keep people posted if I find anything else interesting there. And then I did not know this either.
Did you buy any 30 rack of Kirkland's or?
I did not actually. We were in a bit of a hurry, so I couldn't run through everywhere. I did not get any alcohol on this trip, but I think that it's safe to say there will be some alcohol getting purchased on future trips. And I did not know that Costco has gas. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think Costco is one of the they are like one of the biggest sellers of gas in the US, actually.
I'm trying to remember what the number was, but I think they were 30 cents cheaper a gallon than the other gas stations. That's
I think they move like a volume of gas more significant than a lot of other places that you might think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally believe it now that I see their whole setup. So,
but do you have to be a Costco member, I suppose, to buy gas there?
Yes, that is correct. Yep, you gotta.
So did you fill up a tank?
Oh yeah. Well, we were just about to hit the road, and my wife's like, "Oh, we got to go." I'm like, "No, we're gonna get the cheaper gas because we're gonna need gas in an hour if we don't get it right now. So we're doing it now."
Yeah. Right.
And it is still funny with gas because you buy in a Tahoe, you put 20 gallons in it, and you say, "Well,
I know, even at 30 cents, you're like $5, whatever."
Yeah, I saved $6. Like, still, it's and that 30 cents.
That's a huge difference. 30 cents is a huge difference. It feels
significant, and maybe the number was 20 or 25. I thought it was. I thought it was 30, but still, even then, you're like, "Well, I saved $6. Like, that's at the end of the day not going to make or break anything, but you feel like you're getting a deal, and I think that's half the battle, isn't it?
That for sure. But the gas thing, when it's like you drive across, it's funny, or a more extreme is you drive across town for the one that's 3 cents cheaper.
Oh, I've never done that.
Did you actually? No, like I wouldn't do that either.
Oh, but people do. People do.
Right.
They'll go through, probably losing the difference in burning half gallon of gas to go get gas that's 5 cents cheaper a gallon. You know, it's like it doesn't.
Yeah.
Assuming your time is even worth anything, and when you drive your truck 6 miles across town and back, you just use a half gallon of gas. And
did you get one of the glizzies when you were there?
I didn't, but I did. Oh no, my wife did. I got the
She
pizza.
got a glizzy.
She did. It's $1.50. It's a.
I thought is that what wasn't there? did they stay at $1? Did they raise from $1 to $1.50, or was $1.50?
It's been at it said it's been at $1.50 for 36 years.
Okay.
So when you consider inflation, damn, that hot dog used to be kind of expensive. That'd be
you almost can't afford not to buy it.
Yeah.
now,
So
right?
so she had to get it because a hot dog and a soda for $1.50. I had
really,
yeah, not a bad deal at
That's
all.
a loss leader.
Oh, absolutely. I had to do the pizza, and I got 2 pieces, thinking, well, they're not that big. They actually were fairly big. So two pieces of pizza is quite a bit. So yeah, we
How
did.
was it?
I thought it was fine. I mean, I just definitely pizza I like more, but I've for sure had worse pizza. So
you took it in as like an experience. Going
oh
to
yeah,
Costco.
we did the whole thing. You get done eating, and then as soon as you get done buying your stuff, the food court's right there waiting for you. And it's like, well, if we're walking by it, you might as well get it. You can't.
Might as well get a glizzy.
Yeah, you can't
or two.
come here and not do the whole thing. So got that to look forward to every time I go back now.
Did you see Big Lou Nutter pointed it out, the Fireball?
Yeah, that was
mess?
it. Now it makes sense that I read what he said, but it was interesting. I never considered that before.
Yeah, and is there a lawsuit going on against him on that?
I guess I didn't read that part. But for people that don't know, Fireball enthusiast and Massenomics supporter Lou Nutter had made a comment about how not all what's it, the 2-ounce bottles,
shooters,
the little shooters you typically find in a gas station of Fireball. Which when I think of shooters, that is like the shooter is a little thing of Fireball.
That's
People always
iconic,
seem to have those.
That's
but
true.
He had made the comment that not all gas stations that carry those shooters of Fireball are actually true, legit Fireball, because some gas stations are not allowed to sell, and I suppose it probably applies to grocery stores too, not all of them are allowed to sell liquor. And so the ones that are not allowed to sell liquor, they're not selling a product that is 22% alcohol. They're selling a slightly different product that's closer to 17%.
And it has no whiskey. I think it has no whiskey in it. Like an ingredient in the bottle is not whiskey.
Yeah, and that brings the liquor.
Whiskey.
Yeah, that brings the alcohol content down to 17%. So it's about 5% less roughly. And I didn't know. I didn't look into it if there's a lawsuit or what. But that is interesting. It is kind of surprising that they would even split the product.
And there's slightly different labeling on that. Like instead of being called cinnamon whiskey, that one doesn't have whiskey on the bottle. But if you weren't looking out for it, you would. It generally looks like the same label, but it doesn't say, cinnamon flavored whiskey or whatever it does on it. It's just a little bit different.
Okay, so yeah, look, this is, as of today, this article from the New York Times is saying the maker of Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey has been sued for fraud for selling a beverage that at a glance looks like the spicy Fireball spirit, but it actually doesn't contain the key ingredient, which is whiskey. So yeah, I guess if you have the exact product that people know and recognize, and then you take one word off it, that is a little deceptive.
Yeah.
When people are going to buy it, I guess. Yeah, you would think if they were honest and truthful about it, they'd put a slightly different label on it, so you're getting Diet Fireball, not the real deal. But I suppose that might
Fireball
hurt
Light.
sales. Yeah, it might hurt sales a touch.
It's just like it's not a full on blazing fire. It's just like a smoldering. It's like there used to be a fire here.
Smoldering ball.
Yeah. Fireball.
So that's our public service announcement. Make sure when you're buying
I demand
Fireball,
my $3 back.
Yeah, make sure you know what you're getting there. You could be getting.
How much
ripped
does
off.
one of those cost? I'm just think $3 is my guess.
Couple bucks, right?
I'm sure it price per ounce is way higher than buying handle, right?
Oh God, yeah, has to be.
Or
this looks like, according to here, $1 to $2. I suppose it. Here's one for $3. $1 to $3, we'll say. Be on the lookout.
Okay. Well, they're not going to trick me again.
Yeah. And next, what are they going to tell us next? Goldschlager doesn't have real gold in it?
But I love gold. Little teaser for next episode. Next episode, we'll talk about rockets at loggers. That's a cliffhanger.
I'm curious to hear what you have
what
to say.
What the hell
here.
could that be?
Okay, without going too far into it, when was the last time you had a rocket at loggers?
Well, this would pretty much just be going into it because that's all it really is.
All right. I'll just have to hold off until next week. Well, luckily we're recording on a Thursday today, so instead of having to wait 7 days, I only got to wait 6.
We only have to wait 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it a little easier. The anticipation.
All right. I was also going to say, let everyone know, make sure to check out our shop, our website, Massenomics.com. You can buy things like our nose freshener Dakota Breeze scented ammonia.
Not even that. We just had our new drop come out, and we haven't talked about that at all.
We had our new drop come out. We better talk about that. You can also buy dad hats and drink spotters. And then, more importantly, our recent drop. What all do we have left of that? Hardly anything.
I think the flag might be gone, right?
I think we have like a couple weight as a number, heavy as a feeling flags.
So by the time
left.
you're hearing this, that means they're gone.
They're probably gone. We are reordering more of those. We did reorder more of those, so hopefully we get some more of those eventually. Also, then we had our squats tee.
That's getting dangerously low, but at the same time, we are experts in guessing sizes, and so
are any sizes out?
Isn't it the best
I think
feeling?
We're out of small or something like that.
Isn't it the best feeling though when you look and inventory's so low and you're like, nothing is out of stock? Are we mind readers? What's going on here?
Whenever it's like that, I'm like, yep, we cracked the formula. And then the next one will sell like 30% of the inventory and it's out of 2 sizes. And I'm like, how can it be that different?
Yeah. You'd be down to, we have 8 sizes we carry and you're down to like 12 shirts and there's still nothing gone. Like, it's amazing. How did it work that way?
Yeah. People are really liking the squats tee though. I think the color.
I like the
color. Yeah. Have you worn yours at all yet?
Yes, I have. And the cream color, it's kind of I'm kind of torn on it because I want to say it pops, but cream doesn't really pop. But also in a sea of black t-shirts, cream kind of does pop, you know?
It's all relative, the popping, isn't it?
It is, but
it harkens at the same time, though. It's a little harkening,
yes,
a little
there's
popping.
a little harkening. I do really like the color of that shirt, though.
Yeah, it's a good one. And it fits in really good with that design.
We've said we've been trying to use that color forever, and we've had probably 4 different designs mocked up through the years on that shirt, and last minute, every time we say, I don't think this is the right one for it. And without a doubt, I can say the shirt was the right one for that.
I think so, for sure. So check it out. Buy all of that stuff. Everything from our website. Check it out at Massenomics.com. Also, please become a supporting member. We'd love to have you more. The more the merrier, right? Like the more we get in there, the better. It just makes it that much more fun.
And a lot of people have that same thought because the more it is growing.
It's a growing, active community, and really like to hit a few more. We'd hit a certain milestone that I've been eyeballing, so we'd really like to get a few more. So maybe you're the special milestone person that I see.
Is it the same milestone I've had in my mind? 10,000 people.
Yes, we're almost 10,000 supporting members.
So close.
So please sign up.
We said once we get to 10,000, we're gonna start our own city. So get us there.
So we're almost there.
Yeah, and we'll start hiring for jobs for this city shortly after that. So it'll be the Massenomics job fair.
Big things coming. And then also make sure to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you're a listener of the podcast. We'd love to have the review. I'll say it right now. We're on the road to 500. I think as of today, we have 468 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. So give us a little push here. If you've been listening for a while, go leave us a review. If you've already left us a review, try and borrow someone else's phone and hit us a review. And on that note, I'll hit you with a couple of reviews here. I'm even going to read a couple. This one's titled Ugh from Powerbelly69. Only complaint is I don't get my druthers on where to leave a 5-star, how to leave a 5-star, and how to use my 5-star. Had to come all the way over here from Spotify. But thank you for making that sacrifice of coming from Spotify.
They got on the road with us there.
Yeah, next one is from Corn-Fed Highlander.
I feel like I
feel like we know
that
name.
is.
Yeah. He goes, someplace flat, a place where the beer logos look like lifting apparel, where non-discretionary income instinctively flock like the structured annuities of J.G. Wentworth. I'm talking about a little podcast called Massenomics. Very good, Eddie.
Very nice.
Next one is from...
well, maybe that was a fake Eddie, though. Maybe that wasn't the real Eddie.
That's true. It could be
we don't have any way of knowing.
Eddie. Right. Next one is just titled 400. It must have been around 400 mark, and all he said is, yeah, buddy. And sometimes that's all you got to say, just a yeah, buddy.
I wouldn't even say sometimes. I'd say almost all times that's all you got to say.
Yeah. Next one and last one I'm going to read today is from Lift Shorts 5 Eva. Instead of 4 Eva, Lift Shorts 5 Eva. I love learning. Most educational strength podcast I've ever listened to. I've always wanted to know how to get strong, how to stay strong, and how to use my strength. I've also learned more than I wanted to know about spicy water and air. I owe my life to Tanner and Tommy. I will not complain if there is more Buffalo merch in the future. Wink, wink.
We could look into that a little bit.
Yeah, Buffalo merch is not ruled out. I don't. You know, it's we got big things coming in the form of merchandise too, don't we?
We do.
Forever big things.
Yeah. # big things coming. This episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink. He had a partner based in Switzerland, and their mission was to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Over the years, that mission expanded to nations across Europe and beyond. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best military items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine, from Czech Army bedpans to Italian champagne glasses. At SwissLink.com, you can find right alongside those classic military surplus items, a great selection of military issue backpacks, tools, wool blankets, NATO fuel cans, gas masks, emergency food, first aid kits, survival packs, camping gear, and so much more. SwissLink's unrivaled collection and dedication to quality customer service sets them apart from the rest. Treat yourself to the real thing with authentic military surplus and save 15% off your first order from SwissLink.com with code MASS at checkout. That's MASS to save 15% at SwissLink. And last but not least, this episode is also brought to you by Juggernaut AI. I've been using Juggernaut AI for almost a year now, and I've seen great results on the program. It's like having a powerlifting coach in your pocket to help you with every training session and help you unlock your true potential. They've helped thousands of athletes across the world, from beginners to world champions, maximize their results and reach their powerlifting goals. They deliver principle-based coaching through cutting-edge technology to help you get the best powerlifting results possible. Like I said, I've been using it for close to a year. I've seen great gains, and I'm excited to keep the train rolling, keep the gain train rolling. If you want to save on Juggernaut AI, you can go to juggernautai.app and use code Massenomics, and that'll save you about 10% on your subscription for the life of your subscription. So make sure you hop over to juggernautai.app today.
Yep. I think that's about it. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but nobody cares about that. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics. See ya.